massage or bikini wax today. It's hard to keep track of my schedule being a superstar and all that. Hey guys, how's it going, eh? Todd, the cheap drums guy. I'm about a year into this now. Time has flown. It's just crazy. And within a year, I've learned a lot. Not only with playing, but in equipment and setting things up, electric and acoustic differences and all that kind of stuff. And it was a lot more. There's a lot more that has happened and I've had to adapt to than I was expecting from the onset. But that's all right. That's all right. I'm used to change and I don't really like it sometimes, but you know, sometimes you just got to figure this stuff out on your own. Now, I started off about a year ago with the combination of 2 electronic kits. And on the plus side, it helped me get confident on striking the drums and all that because I had everything on my, going into my headphones. And so no one could hear me make a complete fool of myself. And it served its purpose for a little while, but with the introduction of the drum hardware and trying to find a good system to use it, and using 2 kits combined that were, I'd say, almost made for kids. The sounds were lacking, the play was lacking, and the size, it was so scaled down that you were constantly humped over. And had I known then what I know now, I would have never started with the electronic. I would have gone straight into acoustic. But luckily, a couple months into my startup, my friend found this kit, which was black wrapped at the time at Goodwill, $30, and that just opened up everything for me. And I truly love this kit, and I do love the finish on it now. I've really gotten used to it, and it really makes me happy to see it. So I was able to enter into the acoustic drums, and once I did that, I really didn't have a desire to go back to the electronics. One, because I mean there's so many different ways to hit a cymbal and on an acoustic set and get different kind of sounds. With the electronic kits, not so much. So I broke the big kit apart. I gave the Alesis to my granddaughter, and I do keep it here so she can use it at her leisure when she comes over. And I donated the LixJam EDM 800 to friends of ours downstate, and that'll go down with my wife when she goes to visit them. Never to return again. Because I am hooked on the acoustics. And the acoustics are funny. Just when I thought I could do something right or do something this way, and there's always something that just gets in the way, or so I've had to come up with creative different ways to rearrange the sets. Now, on a standard set of drums you buy, like a 5-piece kit, you'll have the 2 toms mounted above the bass drum. I explored that, and I found it to be terrible. It's just not a very good function. The functionality of it is not very pleasing. I like to have the ride cymbal fairly close and at a decent leisurely height where you can play it. I don't want it way up here or hidden above the floor tom. And I also, when I bought the Griffin tom stand, because I wanted to offset the toms, make the bass drum more over this side and my toms up here, because technically this is the front of your kit. The snare drum is the front of your kit. And the floor drum, or the bass drum is actually kicked off to the one side. And if you have to think about it, if you have 2 bass drums, okay, the snare's in the center, and you have your 2 bass drums. Now, if you take one away and you just have the one, that one bass drum's still sitting there, but your snare is still pointing forward. So, but having those 2 toms mounted offset like that changes your whole system on the left side of your playing. You have to move your hi-hat over, you have to move your cymbals over, and it just causes more strife with the set. So after all the different setup variations I've gone through, I've even uh, using my smallest tom on a snare stand. That works really well because it alleviates the need for a mount off the bass drum. But therein lies problems on the floor. It's taking up real estate. So as I have Candy Stain sitting right now, I've come to the realization that this is the best overall setup for me. I have a 12-inch tom mounted on a tom arm out of the bass drum. It's just, look at all that area. It's just used, the area is just more efficiently used. I do like, even though 13-inch toms, I'll never understand why they use 13-inch toms. It goes from a 12 to a 13 down to a 16. I don't understand. It's the variation between the two, the 12 and the 13. There's just so little between the two, and it should have been a 10 and a 12, or a 12 and a 14, then the 16. But the 13 is just an odd duck. But I still like to use it because you can tune it down a little bit and try to help it act like a floor tom. But I like to incorporate it. You know, I like my drum sets when I have a 5-piece kit like this. I want to have all 5 pieces. So I mount it as a second floor tom. Kind of like some Premier drums. They have their floor toms, they're mounted instead of having actual floor tom legs. And I kind of like it like this. But this is the most efficient way I have found to set up my drums. And a neat little thing is that I did take that tom mount and moved it over here, flipped one of the arms upside down to hang the 13 right here, and which is nice because now it opens up the stand. I can use it as a cymbal stand more efficiently, and I do have my little 14-inch Paiste China on there, which I wouldn't buy again. I just don't like Chinas. I just won't ever buy a China again. And with that being on there, it left me a very inexpensive cymbal stand I can use. So when it comes time to get my last cymbal out of this set, or last one of 2, I have an available cymbal stand. However, it is a very inexpensive one, and I got that one. It came with Candy Stain when I first got it. But we'll be back to that one in a minute because found something interesting with this. So we've covered electronic and acoustic. How like with the electronic, you know, again, I wish I'd never really gotten into that because that would have saved me $750. And essentially I gave both kits away, one to very dear friends of ours and one to my granddaughter. So, but essentially that kit's gonna stay here anyways. But I could have used that money for something else. That's the cost of a brand new drum set, acoustic drum set. But whatever. And I would have come straight into this. Now, you get, you know, the difference between the two drums, drum setups, and my sound percussion kit is set up like this. I don't have the facility to mount 2 rack toms because there's only 1 rack tom with it. But again, the 1 up 2 down or 1 up 1 down seems to be the most efficient setup. And you know, I always wondered like why YouTube drummers always have that setup, like R. David R. or Steven Taylor have that kind of setup for the most part, and it just works so well. So I think that's what I'm going to stick to. It's just the most comfortable for me to play. I mean, it does look kind of cool. Now, as far as cymbals go, I hate Chinas. I'll never buy another China again, especially the 14. The few times I've actually hit it, it's so thin. I put little tiny dents in it, and I don't hit it very hard. But as far as the Paiste PST7s, I am very happy with these cymbals. Very, very happy. And I'm glad I started off with a decent set. Down the road, I would like to get another set. Maybe not as expensive, maybe a very cheap beginner set. A better brass set. Who knows? Because, you know, money, cheap life. But I'm glad I started off with a good set. These are very pleasing to me. And with that extra cymbal stand now, I have only one more cymbal I need out of this set, because I have a 16, 17, 18, 14 china, 20 ride, 14 hats, and the other cymbal I want a 19-inch Peisty thin crash. Now, the 18 medium weight cymbals, the universal set is called, are okay, but I happen to like personally the sets of thin crashes myself a little bit better. I think they just sing out to me. I'm not a heavy hitter, and they just sound a lot better. So that's cymbals. I'm still always in the market. I'm always looking, not every day, but almost every day I'm looking for new sets. And I mentioned in the last video about those two Premier sets that I'm kind of going between about which one to get next, because I will have a 4th set. But, you know, when I went back and watched that video, and then I went back and looked at those sets online, you know, they're pretty much the same setup, 12, 13, 16, and I really don't like that. There is another set in there with an 18-inch bass drum, 8, 10, and 14 tom. That's another Premier. It's a lot more expensive, but I did email them last night and seen if they're willing to negotiate the price, so we'll see. But that's a whole different drum set. It's a whole different sizes. I've got two 22-inch bass drums and a 20-inch bass drum. I got 2 sets of 12 and 13 and 16 toms, and 1 set of 12, 14, and 16. You know, I want a little variation in the sizes, so when I do switch a drum set out, it's not only the different heads that are giving me different sound, but also the different size of the toms. As far as hardware goes, I am completely happy with my D-Drum RX series hardware. Heavy duty, it's been infallible, it just looks beautiful, never have a problem with it. But the only thing with the hardware, I think they give you a boom stand, or they give you the adjustable boom arm stand, but then they give you straight stands, and I really don't have much love for the straight stands. Although I do use, there's one here, because now that I can get it up closer, but I have my other one, my boom arm stand right here above my ride cymbal, and I'm using the Griffin stand now as a straight stand. And I do have my lightweight PDP, which I bought brand new, with the adjustable boom arm, and that works great. And the smaller stand that came with this Drum Zone kit, I don't use very often, because it's a boom stand, and where I have it most of the time, it's not going to work well as a boom stand. So I'm looking at it and looking at the mechanism and what I can do to it, and then it was so obvious to me. I've got to tear it apart. Come here, you little bastard. So there's not much to it. So you remember from my other video, Cymbal boom arm clamp. All right, I'm presently not using it because I do have extra cymbal stands now, and I really don't have need for this. But I could jerry rig something. So let's just take this apart, use this as a table, and see what we can come up with, shall we? Now there really isn't much to this. Stay there. Well, again, these things you can get anywhere. They're like $40 brand new. I bought this one for $14 or $15 used at Guitar Center. All right. There's teeth on the inside there, and that's got teeth on the inside. Let's see how this works. And they're a very handy little thing to do. If you don't have an extra stand to mount that on, there's all sorts of other little things you can do with it. And I'm finding out more and more new things every day with it. Okay. So, there's teeth on the inside of that, teeth on the outside of that. I don't want to, okay. Well, the eye has got a spring between the eye and this. And so that puts pressure on it. Keep that washer right there. Which one was the one I took off there? Oh boy, look at this. Oh. You're seeing this firsthand. Why don't I get paid for this? Oh yeah. Oh lordy. Oh yes. Look at that. I should have some kind of rub it on the inside of that, so make sure it holds a little bit better. Oh, there we go. It wasn't lined up right. Now, of course, this wasn't designed for that, but it works. So, well, I used to have a straight stand. Now I have another adjustable boom arm stand. Although this one, the boom arm is almost as thick as the shaft on the stand itself, but it should work. I gotta tighten a little bit more and maybe put something in there. So there's teeth on the boom arm, on the stand mount, and there's teeth on what was the clamp mount, but they're really not touching too well. If there's a washer in there, maybe I'll take that washer out there, that way they come together a little bit better. But there you go, for those of you who are trying to, this way you don't have to go out and buy another cymbal stand if you have this clamp available. I'm telling you, these things, it's amazing. You could MacGyver up some stuff real easily if you just take a moment to look. Like the other day on the Griffin stand when I was having problems mounting the 13 that way. Just raise the stand up, flip the tom arm upside down, put your lock on the top so it holds it in place, tighten everything down. We're in like flint. But there you go. Those of you who are trying to come up with a way to mount another cymbal, and you have those crappy straight stands, but you do have a cymbal boom arm clamp, there's a real quick and easy way to make yourself an adjustable boom arm. But just remember one thing, folks: do not lose the rest of these pieces. That way, when you want to change again, because I'm always adjusting and changing and fixing things and thinking of things like this, but make sure you keep all your parts together. Don't throw anything away. Always have it around. But that's it. And I'm Todd, the Cheap Drums Guy, and this is what I've been coming up with for the past year. Thoughts and feelings, and I love the drums. You know, it's like yesterday my wife went off to watch a movie with a friend of hers, and that gave me 2 hours, 2.5 hours, just to sit down here relaxed. And I click on music, a mix that I have on YouTube with groups like Fabulous Thunderbirds, and I love that kind of music. You know, and it just, you get into the groove, you're just feeling it, and the fun with the ghost notes and everything, you just can't beat it. In electronic drums, you never achieve that, and I'm never going to attempt it with the electronic drums, because I'm hooked on the acoustics for life. But man, it's just so, it's, even though I'm not learning and being studious like I should, you know, I'm just playing the music most of the time. I love this hobby. I really love it. And until I take a dirt nap, I'm going to continue to do it. But I'm Todd, the Cheap Drums guy, up here in northern Michigan. That's a way to improve your gear with a simple little hack. And you people have a good work week. And I'm going to go upstairs, kick the dogs around a little bit, take them out to go to the bathroom, and you people have a real good day, okay? Be safe out there. Try to be the person your dog thinks you are.